Kia ora and welcome to the Beer Jerk Beer of the Week Drink Along. I'm Luke.
And I'm Joe.
And this week, what are we drinking, Joe?
We're drinking Deed's Pre-Game Pale Ale.
Nice. You probably haven't, well, you definitely won't have met Joe on our YouTube video channel before, because Joe's more of a behind the scenes sort of guy. So thanks for joining us today, Joe.
Oh, my pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So a beer from Deed's. If you've been along the Beer of the Week subscription journey for a while, you've probably had a few beers from Deed's. We've been importing them for a little while now. We bring in maybe a couple of Deed's imports a year.
Yeah, sort of 2 on average, but
Yeah,
always
and
keen.
normally pretty limited. And Deed's are a pretty hype brewery. They make some pretty special, unique and great beers. And what are some of the cool stuff they've done recently?
I think they've done a bunch of sort of pastry sours, pastry stouts. Every year they have like 4 maybe bourbon barrel aged stouts that come out at various points.
Yeah, like the Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah, a couple of them are adjuncted, sort of like cacao and orange, and then a couple of them are just as they are. So I think they have another one coming out just in time for our next import, so keep an eye on that.
Yeah, Joe's been working hard lining up some Australian imports over the next couple of months, and some very special beers for the Beer Jerk Premium Advent Calendar. So you've probably already pre-ordered that, but if you haven't, we've already sold about a third of the Premium Advent Calendar, and it does sell out every year well in advance, so get your order for that quickly. Deed's started off with a couple of mates, David and Pat, who met at university and were into beer and into brewing, but they didn't have enough money to open a brewery. So they got into the distribution game and importing and shipping booze around Australia. They're based in Melbourne. And they picked up a Swedish brand called Rekorderlig, a cider brand that you may have heard of, that did spectacularly well. It's not the sort of thing that I enjoy drinking, but a lot of like alco pop sort of fans are into it. So they grew that business massively and then sold it to maybe Coca-Cola Amatil perhaps. But anyway, that basically funded the start of Quiet Deeds, which is what they were called when they started. Because I think the name probably came from just quiet deeds, softly spoken, not making a big fuss, song and dance, and that's still the way they do things. They're not the showiest of breweries. They really let the beer do the talking. And a couple of years ago, they won the Australian Brewer of the Year. They just pick up so many awards and are so well respected. They dropped the Quiet a couple of years ago, but they still have a range that's called Quiet Deeds. And yeah, they're in Glen Iris.
Sort of, I think, south of central Melbourne.
Yeah, a little bit out of town. And I actually haven't been there yet. I haven't been to Melbourne since 2019. I was last there just before all the COVID lockdowns for the opening of Moondog World, which is pretty amazing. So definitely well overdue a trip. And they've got a really cool looking brewery and bar. This is the logo comes from the like the sawtooth roof of the warehouse. And yeah, they've got a pretty great looking tap room, and it took many years for them to open the tap room due to every hurdle that you can possibly imagine. I remember talking to the guys during that period, and it was just one thing after another with council permissions and various other things. Anyway, onto the beer, pre-game. A beer designed to be drunk before watching sports, I guess?
Yes.
You enjoy sports?
I love sports. I think this is probably the newest addition to their core range. And yeah, just a lovely single hop Citra Pale Ale. Goes down super smooth, lovely sort of bright citrusy aromas, getting like a little bit of sort of lemon drop, lemon drop sweets, not the hop.
Yeah, and it's single hop Citra, and Citra being just absolutely one of the greatest hops. Obviously, it's called pre-game pale ale, so it's not going to knock your socks off with massive hop aroma, but it's really solidly hoppy. You're getting a lot of that Citra coming through. Nice bit of rounded body to it, and yeah, easy drinking. As you say, this is the newest beer in their core range. I imagine they're probably going to shift a lot of this. This is definitely the sort of thing that you'd want to buy by the slab to keep in your fridge. Just a really great. Well, I often use the word sessionable, and it means different things to a lot of different people. A lot of people probably would say a 4.2% pale ale is sessionable, but perhaps a camera card carrying English real ale drinker probably might think that's more the strength of a good IPA. So in Australia they do have middies, which is a really big sector. So that's just like a mid-strength alcohol beer, which is, that is 3.5%. So this is definitely a step up from that. This is not a midi. But it's kind of in that world. And we don't see too many pale ales around this sort of strength. Generally, yeah, they would be more sort of 5.5 or thereabouts. But yeah, lovely, full flavoured, great,
lovely,
easy drinking beer.
Very easy drinking.
So I think you're going to enjoy this week. Maybe pair it with some sport. I can't make any recommendations. What sport's happening soon?
The NRL Grand Final, unfortunately, sans Warriors.
Oh, did they get kicked out?
They unfortunately did lose.
Oh, you must be gutted.
Yeah, and I think there's the Rugby World Cup, so that's probably not pre that because those games are in the morning.
Okay.
It's over in France. Other sports, I'm not too sure. That's probably what I'll be watching this weekend.
Yeah, maybe an early morning pre-game before
Yeah.
morning game. And so other things, I mentioned the advent calendars before. As I say, we've got 4 advent calendars. We've got the non-alcoholic, the classic, the cider, and the premium. If you're watching this and you're a Beer of the Week subscriber, the premium one is what it's all about. We've been doing that for 6 years, I think now. A few imitators have popped up in those years, but none of them touch the BOTW Premium Advent Calendar. It is a very special time. And as I say, we launched it pretty recently and pretty quietly. We haven't pushed it much at all, and it's already sold 1/3 of the allocation. So don't sleep on that because you will have FOMO. Thanks for joining us, sweet Joe.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.